super excited because this is a somebody I consider a friend, even though I haven't seen her in a long time. What is going on? Somebody I consider a friend. Is this you or me?
It's not me.
Oh, okay. So, anyways,
I,
uh,
I think the I think maybe the live is on.
oh, okay,
I
okay. So,
think. I'm not sure.
so, so this is a friend, and it's also a colleague, and it's somebody that we worked together at some point many years back, and she has transformed everything about who she is from a work perspective. And I'm excited because she's going to be talking about how to live a fulfilling life and what it takes to get there. And she's Intuit teacher and spiritual guy, my friend Kathy Clabby. So I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about that.
Me too. Very excited.
Yeah, this is like down your alley.
It
Just
is.
saying. Well, I mean, yeah. As a medium, you know that same language, don't you?
I certainly do. And I'm
So
excited. I'm excited to get to talk to Kathy and to hear to hear her story.
yes, I am so excited. And but before we get to Kathy, you and I need to get up to date with what's going on. This is going to be a big weekend. So you want to tell people why?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you that this morning, how could I not be like in the best mood? I got up, took off to the Cape Cod Canal, and as I always do, and did just under 4 miles in a gorgeous day with the ocean right next to me. I mean, how do you not start off with being grateful for that and just being grateful? It's pretty amazing. And tomorrow we leave for NYC for a couple of days.
Yes, and why are we going to NYC? Just tell people. I mean, because I'm going to tell my side of the story very soon, but I want you to share with people why we're going there.
It's very simple. I love you so much. I just want to, have make memories with you in various cities. That's it. That's all. You have something else?
Well, I what I do want to say is that several weeks ago. Now, mind you, guys, you all know,
Oh Lord.
you all know. This is the truth. I'm not exaggerating. You all know that, you know, I took Steven to Palm Springs, which was a dream of his. So it was in his bucket list, and then we went
That
to
was. I was. It was.
Santa Monica, and that was it was a gorgeous trip. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I loved everything about it, and so we spent what 10 days or something like that out there, and then we come back. We went to Puerto Rico also, and that was a lot of fun, and then. A few weeks back, Steven just comes to me, and this is how he starts the conversation. Well, if you don't want to go, I can always return them. And I'm like, okay, so first of all, I already know he's bought something. So there's a purchase of some sort. And how do I say, okay, yeah, go ahead and return them? And then he says, but I was thinking because it's my birthday, it would be nice. And I thought, I actually did I didn't think I thought this out loud. I said to Stephen, okay, because going to Palm Springs and Santa Monica and Puerto Rico, it's not a really wonderful way to celebrate your birthday. So he then said that he had these tickets to what is it that we're gonna go see, Stephen?
Funny girl.
Funny Girl. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I love the theater, and any opportunity to get in the theater, I'm gonna always say yes to. So that's what we're going to New York City. We're gonna celebrate again Steven's birthday, and that's totally okay. That's what I do. That's why I'm the number one husband in the world because
Nobody's gonna argue with that. I know that.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
I'm
no,
taking
nobody's going to argue with that. And it
I'm
was a
taking
spur of the moment thing, Helix. I happened to see it on Instagram, and it was a spur of the moment thing. I had to get them before they went. And it's a funny girl, and even though Barbara Streisand's not in it, you know how she's one of my top artists that we were lucky enough, another bucket list, that we got to see her in concert in Boston. So when I
Yes.
saw Funny Girl, one of my favorite movies, I just actually I think my fingers kind of separated from me and just hit the keyboard and purchased, including pulling out the credit card from my wallet and all of that. So, you know,
Yeah. Every
I
year,
blame
by the
Spirit. I
way.
blame Spirit.
Yeah, okay. Every year that we have the same conversation sometime in around October when he says, "Oh, I just got tickets for the Rockettes." I couldn't help it. It was such a good deal. You always get the best deals, and they were limited. They're always limited, and I swear, we have like the same seats year after year, front row, mind you.
We
So
have to.
we
We,
have
ha-
to,
we,
and
ha-
that's
we have to. For that, I don't think I actually say they were a good deal. Because I clearly know we're going to the Rockettes. If we're in the front row, I can't sort of, pass that by anybody. Oh, they were good deals. It was a good deal. No, I don't. It's just I have to be in the front row. The Rockettes they know me. They smile at me, and I know in a past life I was a Rockette. I just know it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So, but they do know. I mean, that's on in all seriousness. Do you actually got to connect or befriend two other Rockettes because they reposted one of your videos, or they wanted you to share some of the pictures that you took or the videos that you took, something
Yeah,
like
well,
that, right?
both of them asked me for when I posted the recording on Instagram. Two Rockettes reached out to me and asked me if I could either tag them or send them the video, which I did. And then all of a sudden, I see on the actual Rockettes Instagram page they're using my video. And the coolest thing was people, because I went on and I was like all excited. And there were people that actually posted on the Rockettes page, an Instagram page, you should give Steven the Medium credit. He's the one that did the video. And that day I went back on and there was Steven the Medium scrolling. They did.
Yeah, yeah,
That was
that's
so
pretty
cool.
awesome.
That
So,
was.
so this year later on, we'll be talking about we will be VIPs at the Rockettes Christmas show this year because they know Steven. So sounds pretty good to me.
I'll be
But
kicking with them.
okay, but okay. So, and by the way, this is all tied up into living a fulfilling life because really, Steven and I. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited to have Kathy with us today because that's really what we're up to. Everything that we do is around having we have that commitment that all we are committed to is to live our best life and a life that is fulfilling in every aspect possible. And that doesn't mean that our life is a perfect life. It doesn't mean that we don't deal with bad moments or disappointments or breakdowns. We have all of the above, right? But
Yes.
we're still committed to living our best and most fulfilling life. So
Yes.
hopefully today it's a show that will inspire you to really listen to what Kathy has to say and step into the gap with all of us, right?
Absolutely.
So, but having said that, there also is a purpose. Our New York trip. Um, we talked the previous shows. We talked about Steelix, the series, and if you haven't seen episode 1 or episode 2, you got to go to Stephen the Medium's YouTube page. They're incredible, and what we ask is that you share them and that you tell your friends and your family to also follow us and keep looking for new episodes. But the next episode, it's really all going to be about you, your birthday, New York, the trip, and all the shenanigans in between.
Oh, I don't feel very comfortable with that, Elix, because I just don't like the limelight on me. I just don't. That's not something that I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah, and I know
So
at this time our producer is probably rolling his eyes and saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, Steven is somebody that just wants to stay in the background." There's nothing, again, I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday I was at a client's office. I went to their office and I was in a meeting and I wanted to share something, and I said, "In my humble opinion." And then I sort of stopped myself and I said, well, okay, I know there's nothing humble about me, so I'm just gonna say in my opinion. And one one of the guys said, "I'm glad you said it because I was actually gonna say there's nothing humble about you, Elix." But anyways, in my
See?
opinion, this is gonna be one heck of an episode, and I cannot wait, Steven.
Hey, listen, before we go to break and have Kathy come on, what about last night? What a beautiful, amazing dinner in the North End we had.
Yes, so a shout out to Dow, who is
Oh.
she's an awesome client. I've known her. We've met through being a client, but she's also an incredible friend and somebody who is just an amazing woman, an amazing leader, a force to be reckoned with. And she happened to be in Boston and wanted to connect and wanted to meet Steven. So we got to go to the North End, and that was pretty awesome. By the way, look out for. I don't know. Where did you post that in Instagram? The story or the
On,
video?
on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, on the video because she actually ordered that pasta that you put in the cheese wheel,
That
and
was so cool.
they come out. So also a shout out to Carlo at Strega in the North End in Boston. He is just amazing, and a shout out to my friend Melissa Mamory because she's the one that made that connection for us, and I know she was jealous that we were there without her. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about how to live a fulfilling life and what it takes to get there. And I'm going to have my friend, and I'm excited to have intuitive teacher and spiritual guide, Kathy Clabby, join us. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. I'm your host, Coach Elex. With me, my wonderful, very handsome co host.
Stephen slash attorney slash medium is
That,
here.
that's right. So you get Steelix for the next hour. And I'm so excited because today we're talking about how to live a fulfilling life and what it takes to get there. And we have a very special guest, somebody I love, I adore. I know her professionally. We got to work together many years back. And she's a friend and somebody I admire greatly. She's an intuitive teacher, spiritual guy. Kathy Clabby has spent over 27 years as a senior management or manager in the corporate world. Now she runs her own business as a professional, intuitive, and channel. Kathy's work is focused on connecting people with universal guidance and wisdom in a non-nonsense way. She brings through messages meant to expand people's view of themselves and what they're capable of, and offers clear pathways for how to put that wisdom into action in the real day-to-day life. And we're going to talk with my friend. Welcome, Kathy Clabby. Yay!
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be with you.
Kathy, when was the last time we actually saw each other?
You know, I was thinking about that this morning, and then I just started to feel old. I think it's got to be at least 10 years since we've seen each other.
Kathy, I'm gonna say it's closer to 15, 20 years.
It's really sad to think that far back, but it's kind of probably the truth.
Probably. I don't know. Stephen, I was about 5 years old when you met me. So
I don't know. I wasn't born.
Yeah, right?
yeah, we met in daycare. That's all I remember, Kathy. But Kathy,
I totally get it.
I am so excited to have you here, to be having this conversation with you. You know, first and foremost, you know, my husband, Stephen, my co-host, he's also an attorney and a medium. So to have both of you sort of in a very similar realm and have this conversation is really exciting. And honestly, when I was reading like what you do, I thought to myself, who wouldn't want that? I want that. I hope I walk away with some wisdom into action in real life right now. So you have a high bar, Kathy. Just saying. So
all right then.
But listen,
before we talk about that, can I please just say how jealous I am about Funny Girl in New York this weekend?
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God. I share your love for Barbara. And
oh my God! Barbara. See, I knew it. I knew this was going to be a great interview.
When I was a little girl, I wanted to be Barbara Streisand, either Barbara Streisand or Marita Moreno. So
wow.
I am right there with you.
Well, Stephen could say the same thing. You know, he also wanted to be Barbara Streisand. I don't think he wanted to be Rita Moreno. Maybe me. Maybe that's more down my alley. But I can assure you, he's been wanting to be Barbara. So just saying, Stephen. But listen, I want to take a moment to have you share in your own words who you are and what does an intuitive and channel do.
Yeah. Well, what I am, right, is I really am, well, who I am. I'm an intuitive and I'm a channel, and I spend my days speaking to spirit. And it's funny, it really is, just like you said, Stephen and I really definitely are in the same realm. It's like we both tune into the radio, and he tunes into this channel, and I tune into that channel. It's kind of like that, you know. It's and I work with people, whether it's individually or in groups, to look at their lives from a much broader perspective than they may be looking. Because we tend to just be focused on the circumstances that are of this kind of in our physical world, our job, our what we don't like about this, or our traffic, or whatever the heck is that we're dealing with. But we're not really telescoped out to a really much bigger picture. So the work that I do with people is from such a greater perspective that people are left with a much bigger experience of themselves, and they very, very then naturally are able to see things differently. And from there, the kinds of actions that are right there to take are clear. Doesn't make it easy to take them, but they like that.
You know, Kathy, I believe, and in large because of the things I've learned through, Stephen. Stephen and I are gonna go into our 30th year together, married, and and everything that I've learned through spirit, through him. I've learned that the universe always gives us exactly what we need at the right time. And yesterday, Stephen, were you and I not talking about this conversation yesterday?
Yes.
So that you're here, it's just, I take it as a gift from spirit and it's a gift from the universe. And I'm so, so incredibly thankful to really listen to your worth of wisdom. Stephen, anything you want to add?
No, I love listening. And Kathy, as you're speaking, the thing that just sort of emanates from you, like the theme is sort of like, I just keep hearing like people don't come to you, they're sent to you.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Now, help our listeners understand when you say, you help people stop doubting themselves, because that's one of the things I was reading about what you do, and you teach them how to live a fulfilled life, align with their spirit. What does that, so 2 questions, right? What does that mean? Yep. And how do you define living a fulfilled life?
Good. So I'm going to start back with living aligned with your spirit. I think one of the things we have to deal with is that we kind of from a very early age, we get enculturated, trained to deal with the world through our physical senses, what I can see, what I can taste, what I can touch, what I can quantify, what I can measure. That's what's quote unquote real. And so we really learn from an early age to kind of disconnect from our intuition and our intuitive knowing. And it gets written off. We get told not to pay attention to it. We get told to pay attention to the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. What I can see, what I can count on. And even when it doesn't line up, when in your gut, a lot of people feel their intuition in their gut. And people will say, I just had a gut feeling and I should have paid attention. And one of the biggest things about aligning with your spirit is tuning back in to that intuitive sense. We were always meant to. We're all intuitive. People think, oh, she's intuitive, but I'm not. No, everybody's intuitive. We just stopped developing it. And when we start tuning into our intuition, when we start paying attention, what we begin to experience, even in our physical senses, gets expanded. So aligning with our spirit really just is aligning with a greater sense of who we are that goes beyond the physical and really does step into that. I think the first space that people really do recognize is that kind of intuitive realm. It's all energetic. And when we expand beyond the physical into that energetic realm, when we start paying attention to those energies, people talk about being high vibe or good vibes only. They're recognizing energy, and it really is starting to align ourselves with that. We are energetic. We are energetic beings, and we don't exist only in the physical. So that's kind of, does that give you a flavor? It's kind of a sense of what I mean by aligning with your spirit. It's aligning with who you are as an energetic being, not just a physical one.
It's fabulous. Stephen, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Kathy, I love what you're saying. It was in sort of my journey so far, and not really understanding or knowing I'm a medium for such a long time. But in my journey, I just always used to think, how is it that so many kids, little like babies to toddlers to 8, 9 years old, 7 years old, 6 years old, how is there so many kids connected in so just with ease connected to spirit, and yet it all dissipates? And it's exactly what you said. It's once we get into that school environment, nothing is even remotely taught on the spiritual side.
Yes, and it's discouraged.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was little running downstairs. Oh my God, running downstairs and telling my mother that she needed to call air traffic control because there was a plane that was going to crash. And I was, here's the numbers and you need to call them because people are going to get hurt. My mother was like, honey, I'm not going to call the air traffic people. I didn't know what to call it, And she was, and then a week later, it was all over the newspaper. And my mother, it freaked my mother out. She'll still tell you the story. It freaked her out. But we all come into the world connected, and we learn to not pay attention, whether it's because nobody else is, or because people are interacting with you like you're the weird one, or they're looking at you funny. We don't want any of that. We want to belong. Mm-hmm. So we stop.
Yep. Kathy, we have to take a break, but there's so many more questions that I have for you, and I know Stephen does as well. So let's take a break, and hang in there with us, Kathy. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I'm your host, Coach Elix. With me, my wonderful husband and co-host,
Stephen the Medium.
Stephen the Medium's in the house. And today we have a very special guest, somebody I consider a friend I love and adore. She's an intuitive teacher and spiritual guide, and here with us talking about how to live a fulfilling life and what it takes to get there. Kathy, welcome back. Kathy, the last time we talked, couple of things that come to mind as I'm listening to you. First of all,
Yep.
have you ever dealt with self-doubting yourself? And if so, was there anything that happened that was that aha moment where you decided in that moment, I need to alter my life right now?
Oh, yeah. And I think you know this, but so first of all, yes, I have dealt with a lot of self-doubt. There was, and God, it's almost like I could talk about either one of those things forever, right? I think we all deal with self-doubt. There's doubt all over the place, and it drives us crazy. It's one of the things I think that one of the biggest benefits, and just to kind of go back around fulfillment, one of the biggest gifts we can give ourselves is really tuning in to our intuition, to our intuitive side, to kind of, just like you guys were talking about at the beginning, really stepping into that gap and getting connected to our spirit, to spirit. And in that space, self-doubt starts to fall away. So I'm just going to point that there. In terms of the aha moment, I was, and you know this, I was working for 27 years in a corporate role. I was a senior manager. I really did love what I did, but there was a point when I knew it wasn't a fit anymore. And I doubted myself about it. And I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And at some point, my body gave out and I had a stroke. I was no candidate for it. Yep. No candidate. I had no underlying anything. And my body just said, we're done. And I really had to stop. There was nothing to do but stop. And I had to look at what I was doing, how I was living, and I got so present to how disconnected I was from myself. And I just started listening. And I started listening to my body as I healed. I started listening to spirit. I started asking for guidance. And I just kept stepping into it and stepping into it and stepping into it. And as I did, I got better. I'm fully healed. I am so lucky. And it was literally like my whole life changed. So in terms of an aha moment, it was a pretty big one.
Kathy, what would you tell somebody who, and I know there's thousands of people who listen and who can connect with everything that you're saying. They find themselves in your story. They know that they're not fulfilled, but they also have those conversations, their little gremlins telling them, well, if you stop doing what you're doing, you're not going to earn enough money. You're going to be poor. You're not going to have the house that you want, or whatever that conversation is. And in spite knowing that they're not fulfilled, in spite knowing that there's something else, they're also getting physical signs, because there's a lot of neuroscience behind everything that you're saying. And a stroke becomes a physical sign. And there are people who, unfortunately, their physical sign is ultimately death. But what would you say to that person, right? Who they know they're you, yet they're stuck, Kathy. They are paralyzed. What would you tell them?
The first thing I would tell them is breathe. I really do mean that. Literally, take 5 minutes a day and just breathe. And if all you do is count your breaths for 5 minutes a day, it will make a difference. And then start asking, what do I need to see? What do I need to know? Ask spirit for guidance. It will come, and it will come in ways that you don't expect it. And it can take working through stuff, but spirit is so available to work with you. But we have to ask, and we have to be willing to listen.
Wow.
And I know it can sound like when you're in the thick of it, and it really is like, I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do. We have to let go of that it's about doing. We really do have to let go of that it's about doing, and we have to step into that there's something we cannot know through our mind, through figuring it out. And we have to step into that connection with spirit and let ourselves be guided. Let ourselves be open to listening for guidance.
Stephen, anything you want to add? Any questions?
Yeah, Kathy, I have a question for somebody. Yep. Say I came to see you, and this was 2009, before I was told a medium, and I'm not going to get into the story. It's not about me. And I had no idea I was a medium. How do you balance speaking to myself or any clients with letting them know that the tools you're giving them are going to open them up to a place, a possibility of seeing their passions and their gifts and everything else, but without leaning too far to the person like myself, if I went to see you, leaving like she just wants to make me feel better because this is her business, and there's so much out there for me, and really coming to you in 2009, I did have something that was just like right at the perimeter of where I was stepping, but I wasn't there yet. Like how do you balance that?
Well, it really is. You talk to people where they are. And some people are right there ready to take a leap. And it's different for each person, and there's, from A to Z, you may not go A to Z. When I couldn't get out of bed because I was recovering from a stroke, you couldn't tell me just, open up, listen to your spirit. No, right then what there was for me to do was heal and sleep. And maybe take a shower if I was lucky, right? But so it really is, you got to talk to people where they are. So I really have to listen and work with people for what's the next step that's for their highest good. There's not a one size fits all. So I really, really don't like the kind of feel good stuff that just is, for me, it feels like fluff. Mm-hmm. It really is. What's the next thing that this person could do in their real life to make that difference? Maybe it's call your mom. Maybe it's there was one woman who was really working on stuff, but she was hiding it from her kids. And it was, go have that conversation. And she did. And then life opened up. So it just differs from person to person based on what they're dealing with. Somebody might have their head in the sand and they don't want to deal with something. But then there's somebody who's right there ready to take that step. And it's a different conversation with each person.
I love that. And I don't know, Kathy, if you feel this way, but I'm teaching a class right now, an introductory class, and what I have told my students is that, again, this is just my perspective, my experience as teaching this class, but I told my students that a mediumship class that was set up maybe 20-25 years ago, it for me anyway, from my perspective, just wouldn't work anymore here, because we're so, as what you just said, we're at such each one of us are in such a different place, and there's just so much energy, and there's different pockets, and I really do
Yep.
focus that class on not just about here's the meditation, here's this, here's that. I mean, of course, you need that knowledge, but it's more for my classes. It's really what I realize. It's more about the figuring out how you can be aware of what's going on in your life, and it sounds like what you're saying is the same thing.
Yes. Very,
I
very
love
much
I love
so.
that. I love it.
Yes.
Kathy, one thing that caught my attention, you just gave that example of that client who was keeping stuff from their loved ones, right? And as I listened to
Hmm.
you sort of coming out, right, making this transition from being, a professional executive to now changing a whole profession, what comes to mind is, we've established, we have a tendency to establish ourselves in a certain way where our friends, our family, they know, they have this listening for us as this is who we are, right? Then all of a sudden we make a left turn and now we're something else. How do you
Right.
have that conversation? Is it scary? Where do you, how do you make that connection so that others really get how important this is for you?
Yeah. It really was like a coming out for me. And it was like a coming out of the spiritual closet. And, I had kept it to myself for so long. And when I first started talking about it, there were like a few people, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of do this thing, and maybe I could talk to you about it. Gee, I was like, so tentative. And when I decided to, well, I don't even know it was a decision. It was such a calling to step into it, and I knew I had to. It was kind of like, okay, I was getting so many messages, and it was so clear to me that this wasn't about me and what I wanted, because I just wanted to be comfortable, and there was a lot of ways I could be comfortable, and this wasn't it. But if I really wanted that kind of fulfillment and happiness, I was going to have to risk something. And I come from I grew up in Georgia, and it's definitely the Bible Belt, and when I started talking to my mom and my stepmom and even my sister about I was going to do this, right? I was pretty clear I was going to be met with a lot of concern for my salvation. And was I going to be able to go to heaven still? And was this against God? And I had to deal with that with them. And I went into every one of those conversations knowing that they loved me. And it wasn't about, I didn't need to defend anything.
Yeah,
And I didn't need to make them understand.
yeah,
I just
so,
needed to get that they loved me
yeah. Kathy, that's
and
so
let them
wonderful.
have, yeah.
Yeah, that's so wonderful, so inspiring. We do have to take a break, Kathy. Hang in there
Okay,
because there's
sorry.
there's
Yeah.
much more that we want to talk about. So we'll be right back. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. I'm your host, Coach Elex, and with me, my wonderful co-host,
Steven is here.
Steven the Medium is here. And today we're talking about how to live a fulfilling life and what it takes to get there. And we're talking to my friend, Intuit teacher and spiritual guide, Kathy Clabby. Kathy, welcome back, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
So, Kathy, I'm going to ask a very selfish question because, I got
Sure.
you, and this
Yeah.
happens to be my show. So I'm going to ask anyways. You got any messages for Stephen or I? Start with me first, just saying.
Oh, let's see. All right, let me stop and tune in. I'm going to my cards.
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
immediately to my cards.
I love it.
I have read tarot cards for, 35 years.
Kathy, I'm
And,
always so impressed with people that do and read cards and know cards like the back of their hands. I think to me it's so
Yeah.
intimidating. There's just so many of them and there's so many things in each card. So kudos to you, Kathy.
I love the cards. They are, for me, such a prompt, and I just trust every time. So hold on, I'm shuffling. All right, and I'm going to shuffle for Elix first, and then I'll do Steven. All right?
Okay.
It's also quite faster than sitting down, meditating, and getting messages.
I love
All right,
it.
one. Good. Me too.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Nervous excited. Okay. Drum roll,
Okay.
please.
Here we go. All right, my friend. Okay, so for you, my dear Elix, I got the Knight of Wands reversed.
What does that
And
mean?
yeah. So the first of all, the suit of wands is always about your creative passions, what you're passionate about. It's the element of fire, okay? And this guy, knights are on a mission. Knights are on a mission to bring something to the world. And this guy with this reversals can mean a bunch of different things. But with you, Elix, I'm getting that there's something that you know wants to be brought forward that you're not fully stepping into. That there's something where I don't know if it's a next iteration or if it's a new thing. You got to look. But if there's some next iteration, some new space that you're supposed to take, and you're holding back a little bit,
I totally get that.
Okay, good. Because this knight wants to ride forward. He is passionate, and he wants to bring this out into the world. And this reversal is saying he's stopped, and you need to let him go. You need to let that shine. It wants to be brought into the world, and people want it. Does that make sense to you?
Makes perfect sense. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
So
Good.
yay for me. Let's do Steve.
All right. I'm cutting for Steven. Hold on one second.
Steven, this
There's
is so
no Barbra
exciting.
Streisand.
It is. Kathy, you can just start and end with Steven. You're just perfect.
But you get that
you
from
guys
me, and
are
I
the
don't even
best.
need a card for
And I
that.
get that from me.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah.
No, this is
Okay.
great.
Oh, good. Good. All right, hold on. One more shuffle. I'm finishing. And then I cut. Okay, for you, my dear, I got the 9 of Cups reversed. Cups are the suit of joy, of love, of satisfaction, and also intuition. And the Nine of Cups is all about, it can be known as the wish card. Like all your wishes come true, right? This one, with this reversal, it feels a little different, and reversals can mean different things. But this one really does feel like, God, two things I'm going to say about this, Stephen, for you. Mm-hmm. The first thing is, it really is a go within. Sometimes when cards are reversed, the reversal is saying, don't look out in the world, go within. Go within for what it is that you're wishing for. Go within for what it is that you're wanting. Go look at what is it that you really, really, really want. Because it's right there. In a suit, you go from an ace to a 10, right? It's a journey. And that 9, you're almost at the end of that journey. So there is a fulfillment there that wants to be brought in literally fully into fulfillment. And this reversal feels like it's telling you to do that inner work, to look at what is that. It's kind of funny because yours and Elix's are really kind of connected. So I don't know if there's something you're working on together, but there's okay, good. Because it feels like that. And it feels like there's this, Stephen needs to connect his intuition in with it. It feels like Elix, you're the passion and the drift. You're the one who's going to charge forward and bring it into the world. And Stephen's going to do the intuitive side. And you really both have to do that kind of inner looking for what is it that wants to get birthed? What is it that the fruition of it is both of yours being brought into the world? Because it's all right there, and it's going to be beautiful. That's what I got.
Oh, Kathy, I totally get it. Stephen, did you get it?
I have, Kathy, when you were just talking to me, I have goosebumps throughout my body, like waves of energy coming through when you're just giving that assessment. Because yesterday, Kathy, Elix and I had a conversation together, and the conversation was about Elix talking to me about it's time to stop looking outwardly and start looking inwardly with you, Stephen. It was exactly what you said is the conversation we just had yesterday.
Got it.
It's amazing. It's just amazing, Kathy.
So, Kathy, I hope our listeners are really getting the power of what you do. So let me ask you this, because we're getting to the top of the hour. So today's conversation is all about how to live a fulfilled life and what it takes to get there. If there's one or two things that you could give our listeners that they could do, tangible things that they could take on immediately that would lead them in that pathway, what would you say that is for them?
Yeah, I would really first and foremost go back to take 5 minutes every day and just, I almost hesitate to say meditate because I think that puts people off. So if you just breathe and count your breaths and let the thoughts come, and if you notice you got distracted, bring it back to counting your breath and just slow down. It is that space of going within, and it's connecting. It's establishing that connection with spirit, and then asking, what do I need to know? What do I need to see? What do you want me to know? And then listen. And really listen. And it'll be there. And it may come for people in, there's a clip, or just like this kind of validation that just happened with you and Stephen, where that was the conversation you were having, and then I just echoed it. That's a big sign from spirit saying, okay, yep, you were dead on. If you didn't notice, here, let me make sure she tells you again.
Yeah.
we get that guidance. It's always there. We just have to start listening, and we'll hear it.
But also I say, okay, so now you got to get in action, right?
Oh, yeah. When the guidance comes, you got to act on it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just becomes a nice thought.
Yes. Nothing happens if we don't take, purposeful action. Kathy, I honestly, I'm giving you an open invite to come back anytime to the show. I actually feel that you've provided so much value, such rich conversation, and I know our listeners love, listening to what you had to say. Now, how can people learn more about your free guide that you offer, and how they can book a session with you?
Sure. My website is easy. It's just my name. It's kathyclabby.com. And the free guide is on the homepage, and it's pretty easy to navigate. There's, buttons at the top. I also have a Facebook group. It's called Intuitive Living. And every Tuesday I go live and I do little mini readings just like we did today.
Fabulous, Kathy. So there you have it. That's how you get a hold of Kathy Klabby. Kathy, thank you so much for giving your time,
you, Kathy.
Your attention, so generous with us. We love you, and we can't wait to have you back again.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And we've reached the top of the hour. That means that we have to say goodbye also to all of you. Thank you for listening. I hope this show was just as valuable for you as it was for Stephen and I. And we'll be back again next week. So in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend.
And you can find me by StephenTheMedium.com. Just saying.
Oh, my God. Yes, you can find Stephen at Stephen the Medium.
And where they can find you?
At Coach Helix, anywhere on social media. Thank God I have
that?
you on my side. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye-bye.